Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, the mini podcast edition. We got to come up with a better name for that. But my name is Boogie Bentley.
Balls JP.
I'm Dauber. What's happening?
The basket Vols are set to take on Memphis later today. The football team is back on the practice field. Bunch of rumors out there swirling around. So we wanted to take this opportunity to get with you guys and keep you up to date on everything going on in UT athletics. Man, I guess what I want to start, we're going to get into it, but what I want to start with, bowl preparations got underway yesterday, and I like that Pruitt let all the guys that graduated on Friday take that day off from practice to spend time with their families. And the quote was something along the lines of graduating from college is the most important thing that guys will do in college. I thought that was a nice little touch from Pruitt.
Yeah, absolutely. Good look for him. And it shows that he cares about these kids as individuals, not just as football players.
Yeah, I think that's one of those recruiting pitches right there for future recruits.
Especially for mom and dad, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what that's for.
So we had our Music City Bowl breaking news last week. Look, go ahead.
I said, I just hope that we didn't cause anybody to prematurely purchase their tickets.
No, at least we covered our bases, right? Because we did say that it was rumors, and we were just reporting on that. But, man, it was pretty much locked and loaded. Like, everybody thought it was official. It wasn't just us. No,
there was like that Brett McMurphy dude. He was tweeting that out saying, Tennessee versus Louisville. And of course, then VolQuest posted their video, and then all heck breaks loose about 30 minutes after that.
So now what we can confirm, we waited several days so we could confirm as a fact that the Vols will look to win their 6th game in a row as they take on Indiana in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, January 2nd. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Dauber, what are your thoughts when you saw the matchup, Tennessee versus Indiana? Like it, or is it kind of the same?
I'm not a big proponent of these bowl tie-ins because we get the same sort of repeat of. You look at our last 3 bowls against mid-level Big Ten teams.
Iowa, Nebraska.
Yeah, and
Northwestern.
They've not been great games. I like the outcome, but I would like to get back to the bowls just taking the pool of however many teams are left over after the playoffs are set, and you get matched up with whoever. These bowl tie-ins, you're set playing the SEC playing a Big Ten team, or if you get to the Chick-fil-A, it's SEC, ACC. It's you're locked into those conferences, and it takes away some of the the fun of watching bowl season, the fun of watching your team play a team that they wouldn't normally play.
I just wish that we'd maybe get more tie-ins with the Big 12 and maybe even the Pac-10 just to spruce it up some. But I understand why that they do this, because what they're trying to do is trying to make it more regionalized to where they have certain bowl tie-ins to where the fan base can potentially travel. Because let's face it, that's all that these bowls are about, is making money. That's all that there is, because they're pretty much meaningless after that. Now, yes, I can sit here and argue, say these 15 practices that Tennessee get is very, very valuable, and it also helps the recruiting. But as far as end of season, it's not going to be like that. If Tennessee wins or loses this football game, that nothing else is really going to happen for this season, because season's over with and it's done, and there's no shot at winning that game like a playoff and advancing or anything. So, but it's great to see these kids get the opportunity, and I think that's why probably Fulmer and that athletic department probably fought to get these kids down to Florida, so it could be more of a rewarding type trip for them for the efforts that they put forth. And let's face it, if we'd have taken care of business the first 2 games, we'd probably be in Florida, probably either playing in the Capital One Bowl or at least the Outback Bowl against Wisconsin, or, well, no, not Wisconsin. Who's Michigan or Minnesota, I guess. So, with that, but we haven't played Indiana since the '87 Peach Bowl, and oddly enough, I can remember watching that game. It was in the old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Of course, back then, college football wasn't on every single weekend, so there was probably 3 or 4 games a year, if that you actually got to watch on TV. So, but most of the bowl games were always televised, and I can remember watching that game. It was pretty nasty weather, the best I can recall. It was a real sloppy game. I think Tennessee won 27-22, if I'm not mistaken. So a little nostalgia there.
The matchup for me is kind of boring. It's like the Louisville matchup. It doesn't really excite me. But I am excited for these players because it sounds like they're pretty excited to be going to Florida versus loading up a bus and driving down the road to Nashville from Knoxville. But 7 p.m. on ESPN, it's the only game taking place, so college football will be watching, which is it's a good thing for Tennessee. But how much politicking do you think went into getting that upgrade? Even though some people claim the Music City Bowl is better, and we got some comments on the video about that, about how we were putting down the Music City Bowl. And maybe it's a Tennessee thing, I don't know. But how much do you think went into it? It shouldn't be that much, man. Tennessee should have been the premier team over Kentucky, especially won the game head to head, finished on a hot streak compared to Kentucky. How much politicking do you think went in there, or do you think there was not as much to it as people act like?
I don't know. And to kind of piggyback on what you just said there, not that the Music City Bowl is any better or worse than the Gator Bowl. It's just the opportunity to leave the state of Tennessee. Yep. Like you said, a bus ride versus a plane trip. I mean, monetarily, the Music City Bowl is what, 1.8 or close to $2 million more of a payout. And granted, all that money goes to the conference and is divided up amongst the entire SEC. It's just perspective. It is the opportunity for these kids to have a trip to Florida versus a ride down the road to Nashville. But I mean, a bowl game is a bowl game, and after the first 5 weeks of the season, for me personally, I'm just thankful for the way the second half of the season ended up, the way this team fought and didn't fold to make it to a bowl game, period.
Yeah, right. Exactly, because we were headed to the Toilet Bowl for sure after those first two games, and then starting 1-4. But nothing to take away for the Music City Bowl, because I firmly believe that Nashville is a much better city than Jacksonville. And I think what's hurting the Music City Bowl is the time slot that they're given right now. They're on the 30th on Monday afternoon at 3 Central, 4 Eastern time. I mean, I don't think any Tennessee fan could argue and say that Tennessee did not get a better time allotment as far as this bowl being at 7 o'clock on Thursday night, the only college football game on. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that there's going to be more of this, nation, tuning in, watching this football game. And I think that's big for recruiting there. As far as getting back to the politicking, I think that there was a lot of it that was going on. I'd read an article from the Tax Slayer CEO of the bowl, and he was talking about how that this was the first year really that he didn't really know up until when it was really announced who was going to be in there, that there was so much back and forth that was going on and unknowing with that. And there was even a rumor circulating around that when it was coming out that Kentucky was going to the Gator Bowl and Tennessee was going to the Music City Bowl, that Kentucky was already using it on the recruiting trail, talking about how that Kentucky got a better bowl game than Tennessee did, and that they were going to Florida and stuff. Who knows if that's true? But we all know that recruiting is a dirty business. So I have no doubt, or I wouldn't be surprised that kind of stuff was going on with that. But as far as that matchup goes, Indiana, I mean, I've looked into it just a little bit. Yes, they are the second ranked offense in the Big Ten, but that's the Big Ten. And convince me otherwise. Yes, I know that there is times that the SEC loses to these Big Ten teams, but I think it's often when there's really nothing for these SEC teams to play for. Outside of Ohio State, I think the Big Ten is pretty much average. Don't even start on me about Penn State, Michigan. If they played a schedule comparable to what you have to play in the SEC, I don't think that they finished the season with 2 or 3 losses like they have, and that's even playing in the Big Ten. So I'm not convinced. Indiana did not beat a team with a winning record this year. Let that sink in. And I know that Tennessee didn't fare well against the ranked teams that they played per se, but we did beat some teams with a winning record. So I'm just not convinced that Indiana. I think that this game hopefully has a similar outcome to the last 3 times that we played a Big Ten team in a bowl game, and I'm starting to feel that the Vols are going to cruise.
We're going to get more in depth with that. We're going to have a full bowl preview show the week of the game. Could be on a special night. It may be Monday night to give you guys, the ones that can't show up for the live show, a chance to check that out. But it will be the full version of Talkin Vols, not Talking Heads. So stay tuned for that. We will keep you guys updated. We're going to wrap this thing up here in just a few minutes, but JP, you got any quick recruiting nuggets for us before we get out of here? They want that recruiting roundup, so give it to them.
Boy, early signing day is fast approaching. Hard to believe. It's Wednesday, the 18th. Some things that happened this past week, of course, I think we hit on it. Dauber and I did Wednesday, but the big commit from Big O, Omari Thomas, then his teammate, Jabari Smalls, committed the next day. I think Tennessee's probably sitting around 18 commits right now. We did lose Mordecai McDaniel. He ended up flipping. I saw it last night before I went to bed. He flipped to Florida. Tennessee's got a 4-star defensive back that's was originally committed to Arizona State, and Herm Edwards. He's from Georgia. Can't pronounce his first name, but his last name is Slaughter. And who doesn't want a safety that's last name Slaughter? I mean, I'm just here to say right there. So he actually decommitted yesterday, and he's on an official visit this weekend. This is actually the biggest recruiting weekend for Tennessee. Of course, Tyler Barron is supposed to be there. They still haven't locked down the Knoxville native. That's been just and me personally, that's been a frustrating recruitment with him. But hopefully that Tennessee can lock him down. They got Jimmy Callaway supposed to be coming back for his visit. Keyshawn Lawrence, who I think took over the #1 spot in the state of Tennessee on 247 on their rankings this week. So he had an excellent senior season. So, and of course, they got Slaughter coming in, and then the big fish from Las Vegas, Nevada, Darnell Washington, the 6'7", 265, I think, tight end. Brian Niedermeyer has been all over him. A lot of positive vibes coming there. Sounds like that's probably the Vols' best shot at a 5-star. One other big thing to mention, to note, is with Sam Pittman leaving for Arkansas, that's kind of opened back up Tate Ratledge from down there in Rome, Georgia. Many Vol fans probably remember that his father is a huge Tennessee fan. His family is huge Tennessee fans, and he committed to the Dogs. Ugh. But I think that he's taken that very, very hard. Supposedly, the latest intel is that he is not going to sign early and is going to let this play out for another month or so. So I think that's probably the best news that Tennessee could possibly hope there. I know Pruitt and Niedermeyer and Friend was at his school this weekend. They said that they spent several hours with him and his dad. So I think just getting him, if he truly does not end up signing early on Wednesday, and getting him to push that back, that's certainly a major hurdle there in the Vols' attempts to try to flip him. And supposedly the same thing for Jay Hardy. He's claiming that he's not going to sign early with Auburn, but with the way that he done the coaching staff the last time, I don't think that I'm going to trust that. What he says. So that's a little recruiting update, early signing there on Wednesday. So I'm sure that Dauber and I'll probably talk about it there on the basketball podcast Wednesday night after the Big Orange takes on the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Going into overtime here, we got to wrap this thing up, but Dauber, 60 seconds are left. 60 seconds or less. How much does this bowl game mean for the University of Tennessee?
Oh, it's big. From a recruitment standpoint, from a momentum standpoint, and like we've said, recruiting feeds off of winning, and winning feeds off of recruiting. It's a cycle, and to be able to continue this trend that we ended the year with, it all works out for Tennessee getting back to where they should be.
Agreed. I think that is going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoy these little mini podcasts. I know they're not live and interactive, but it's a way for us to get more content. It's quick and easy for us to do. We're going to have more bowl coverage as the Vols get ready for Indiana. So make sure you are subscribed to the SMB network. And as always, smash that like button. JP and Dauber will be live immediately following the basketball game on Wednesday night as Tennessee takes on Cincinnati, as JP just said. And we're going to have the Gator Bowl preview the week of the game. So stay tuned for announcement about the time and the day of that. Also, the rumor circulating, Dauber and Boogie may be hosting a live watch party for the Gator Bowl. More news on that coming. I'm waiting on the business owner to get back in touch with me, but he actually reached out to us. So we will let you guys know what is happening there. But for Vols, JP, for Dauber, my name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs how like me, poets and an archie, soaking